yesterday. We were live in Uganda with Darren Kayuni. Last week we were in Russia. We've been to Czech Republic. We've been all around the world on Sportuccino, and today I am delighted to say we are live in New Zealand. And it doesn't get any better than this, because today's guest is the New Zealand head coach for the national football team, Anthony Hudson. Anthony, welcome to Sportuccino. Thanks for joining us today.
How you doing? You okay?
I'm doing very well, Anthony. It's obviously evening there. We're a morning breakfast show here. So you've been in New Zealand a few years now. How have you found it?
It's been good. I've been here 2.5 years, and it's been a real unique experience. We've had a real sort of rebuilding start to the campaign, and as I was saying before the show, sort of recently and now leading into this next year, things are getting, real enjoyable with qualifiers and Confederations Cup. So we've done a lot of the groundwork, and now we're into the sort of the main stage of the campaign.
Are you just itching for this? Has this been kind of what you've been waiting for? And have you almost enjoyed the fact that it has been a little bit slow, because it's given you this time to kind of prepare everything so you can kind of almost go at it like a steam train the next year?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think every coaching job you have, there's experiences through it and challenges, and I have to say the first couple of years we've had some incredible sort of highs and lows, but I wouldn't change a single moment of it, because what we find ourselves now, we've got a real together team. A real positive team, in the sense that there's a lot of belief in the squad, and the staff. Everyone's in a really good place, and we all have a lot of belief that we can do something in this campaign. And I think that's a result of going through some real challenging times. Everyone working incredibly hard. It's quite. When I say it's a unique job, I think in November was my first home game. So in 2.5 years, we played all our games away from home, and just little things like that, and the travel distance, flying from New Zealand, and we're going to play Oman, and it's a 34-hour trip to get there, and you've got 2 or 3 days to prepare for a game. All of these things, it just when you're playing away from home that much, it just builds a real sense of togetherness in the squad, and you actually learn to appreciate when you come home. But certainly. All of that put together leaves us in a really good position now. Like you said, we can't wait for this next phase of the campaign.
And you mentioned that there's a lot of travelling just for playing matches, but I guess there must be quite a bit involved for you for scouting and looking at potential players. I was looking at your team squad recently, and you've got players from as far and wide as Truro to San Jose. How much travelling are you having to do to just see the form of these players, but also potential other players which you might find out about?
Well, I think, the first couple of years, me personally, and my assistant would do sort of Australia, this side of the world, and I would go and do Europe, and just the trips over there are just an absolute killer. I mean, I always try and cram in a study trip and go and visit a club and watch a coach work, and then I sort of add that on to the end of visiting all the players, and it really is it's one hell of a trip, and it's a real grind, but it's so important, not just for the players and to go and see them in their environment, and we obviously can't go and see them all, but certainly the key players and the ones mainly based over in Europe, not just to see them and get a little bit more time. We don't have a lot of time with our players, so just to get more time with them, but also to get to know their coaches, to try and build a relationship there. We've had plenty of situations, with selection and these types of things and injuries, where it's important for us to have a sort of level of trust and an open relationship with the clubs and the managers. So and that can't be done by just on the phone. So as I say, there's been a lot of work's gone into it. Now what we've done, we've got Peter Taylor, who's come in as my assistant, and he's based over there, so he's going to be doing that job for me, and he's going to be based over there and then meeting us on tour. So that really solves a a problem for us. But certainly, it's a real important part of the job.
I can imagine. So your career has taken you from Wales to Maryland to Bahrain. You're now in New Zealand. You mentioned you've been working with lots of different coaches and continue to learn from coaches when you kind of go around the world. Who have been some of the key influences for you?
Well, I think I think growing up, you watch teams and you start to follow teams that you're passionate about and that you enjoy watching. I always remember, a long time ago watching Athletic Bilbao in Chile with Marcelo Bielsa and watching their run in Europe when they beat Man United and Sporting. And for me, I've never really got so excited as I did watching those teams, the Chilean teams and the Bilbao and Marseille and these teams. I just thought, Bielsa is for me one of the greatest. But I think over time you then start seeing teams and seeing certain things in teams that you think relate to how you want to play and that you like. And I think that's the luxury of being an international manager, because it gives you the time in between windows to go and visit those places and just have a look and observe. And not only keeps you busy, but it certainly it all just added into the bank, and just another part of why I love my job and love what I do.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think that's the most important thing for any job, isn't it? If you have a passion for it, then you reap the rewards in many different ways. How was your time in Bahrain?
I loved it. So many things about Bahrain were so unique. I look back on that experience with a lot of fondness, and just experiencing the culture to start with was very very unique. I mean, just preparing for a tournament during Ramadan and having to train at 1 o'clock in the morning, and after the players had broke their fast, and coming off in the middle of June and absolutely just dripping, just so hot at 2:33 in the morning. The different religious groups and different prayer times leading on game day, all these different things that you have to factor into your preparation. And but that all said, the players were incredible to work with. They have such a passion for football. Technically, there's some really good players there. And they listened, they wanted to learn, and it was just a really enjoyable experience to be in the Gulf, to be in the Middle East, and to be a part of the whole the Gulf Cup and those sort of tournaments where there's so much national pride there, and no one wants to lose against the sort of neighbouring countries. And to be a part of all that was really it was an amazing experience for me. And of course, on the other side, just the living side of it, it was one that I'm just so glad I've been able to have done.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing which a lot of people don't really realise is that whole region, they are absolutely mad about football. And of course, you've got the Qatar 2022 World Cup coming up. And, from my point of view, having lived in the Middle East in Qatar, I've seen the changes the country's made because of the World Cup coming in. And I think really football is a global game, and that somewhere in the Middle East deserves to hold the World Cup. What have been your thoughts about the World Cup going to the Middle East and Qatar, Anthony?
Well, probably similar to you in the sense that I've experienced what it's like there. I mean, I can't remember the amount of times I went to Doha. I loved Doha and spent a lot of time there, either watching games in the league there. We had a couple of players playing in the league, or we used to love going there for training camps and training at Aspire. I mean, it literally to this day, Aspire is the best place that I've ever been to prepare a football team. It has everything. The facilities are incredible. The pitches are the best I've ever seen. And with Bahrain, we went there a lot. I went there with New Zealand as well. But certainly what the investment they're making into the stadiums, some of the facilities there that they have and what they're preparing and planning, I'm one of the ones who just quietly believes that it's going to be a success because I just know, when they put their minds to things and how quickly things are growing there, I think it could be quite good. But certainly from a football standpoint and facilities, it's going to be good.
I miss playing football at Aspire, even at my terrible level, Anthony. It was absolutely amazing. Much better than playing in the parks of England. No offence, England. All right, Anthony, we've just had the draw for we've had the draw for the Champions League, but I wanted to get your thoughts on the Ballon d'Or. Cristiano Ronaldo winning it for a fourth time. Of course, all of the international coaches, they give their votes. And who did you vote for? And do you think that Ronaldo was the right result?
He was my vote, and unless someone's going to pull this out, because I know it goes public, I'm 99% sure he was my top vote. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was. And I think I had the top three. I think I had Messi and Griezmann as well. For me, Ronaldo has been incredible. Definite, deserved winner for me. Just really what he did with his club last year. I thought he was outstanding for his country in the Euros. I just sort of kind of saw a different side to him as well in the Euros, and he played a sort of a different role. He was outstanding in the tournament. He played a role that you wouldn't really expect him to want to play or like playing, but he did it for the team, and then also seeing certain things after the tournament, how much it meant to him for his country to win the tournament. As a footballer, he can do everything. He's absolutely outstanding, and for me, a real deserved winner. But the other two are very, very close.
Yeah, I'll quickly get your thoughts on our poll today. Do you expect Messi to win it again at some point?
I do. I think he's still one of the world's best, and I think all he needs is a good season, a good year, and which is the thing with Messi. He's more than capable. If anyone's capable of doing it, he's capable of doing it. So I think it's just going to be real tight between certainly those two, and then it's down to one other to try and creep in. But absolutely, Messi can win it again.
And Christmas is around the corner. Are you going to get a chance to come home to England, or are you going to be mainly in New Zealand working ahead of 2017? And also, is there any one bit about home that you miss the most while being away, whether it's in New Zealand or Bahrain or wherever you are in the world?
Yeah. Well, I think I have to say I've only just got back because we had this call set up a few days ago, but I've only just got back. We've had so much travelling. We've had obviously with the last three windows, we had a tour to the USA. Then we've had a few qualifiers. We had the Confederations Cup draw in Russia, and a few other little trips. So it's just been which you find, like I said before, in New Zealand, it's just so much travelling. And I mean, the last trip we had to Russia was, I think, 33 or something, 30 odd hours. So I'm in New Zealand now. This is now the first little period where I can get it home and I just want to sort of relax and watch a lot of football and prepare for next year. So I'd love to get back to England. I'd love to see my family, but it's just I've done a lot of travelling. So I think the big key for us now is we've got qualifiers in March, and then we've got the Confederations Cup in June, and it's a tournament that I think we all believe. Certainly internally and as a staff, that if we do things correctly and we really give everything we've got in terms of preparation and be smart about it, I think we believe we could do something. So that's the big goal for us. So it won't be a sort of Christmas holiday where I'm doing nothing. There's going to be a lot of preparation going into it.
Well, we look forward to seeing how New Zealand get on and how you do in the next year. Anthony Hudson, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being on Sportuccino.
No problem. Thank you.
It was really great to hear from Anthony this morning on Sportuccino. So much there to listen. If you haven't heard the whole interview, go back and listen to it on YouTube, on Facebook. It's on all of these different channels. Plus, it's also on iTunes.